You guys ever hear about manifesting? This is a new concept to me. Well, it's not a new concept, but it's a new word. Didn't know that word until a couple years ago. And someone said, "You're really good at manifesting." And I'm like, isn't it manifest like something you fill out when you're in a ship and you're about to, go across the ocean? Anyway, manifesting, that's like when you think of something and you like really, really, really want it. And somehow it just very soon magically appears right in front of you. I know, you don't get it yet, right? All right, so I love used bricks. I'm a big used brick guy. I'm going to give you a little tour of my brick path. I have 19,000 used bricks that I collected over many, many, many years of my landscape career. Every time I would go to someone's house to like piddle in their garden or build a landscape or whatever, since the time I was like 20 years old, I'd always see a few homeless bricks on the side of the house with seemingly no purpose. And eventually I got brave enough to say, "Hey, you need those bricks?" And most of the time they would say, "Heck no, you want them?" And then I would take the bricks home. And I made a temporary parking pad at my very first house for my truck. And then on land that wasn't even mine, the water district had it. It was a little road. They said I could park there. But I made a really nice little brick driveway. And then I had to move. And so I pulled my brick up and took it with me because it wasn't even my land. And they were cool with that too. But yeah, they had a gate they went through. But anyway, took those bricks to my house, stored them there for a really long time, and eventually made this what amounts to a Wizard of Oz like yellow brick road running through the forest, although most of it is red brick. Some of it is yellow. You'll see that. But so now the red brick will actually go really well with Spanish architecture, which is what I have at the ranch in Whitters. And currently I have just a big gravel driveway out front, and I think it would look amazing to get a used brick circular driveway there. So I've been collecting tons and tons and tons of brick up there. All the bricks, every brick that I could find that's homeless, I take. But anyway, my neighbor is a trucker around the corner. And I was driving along. I never met him. I was driving along, and I looked over saw over his fence. I sit up really high in my van, and I looked over his fence, and he had this whole container full of brick that he obviously ripped out from somewhere and needs to go to the dump. And I said, heck no. So I made a deal with him where he's going to bring it over here. We're going to go through the bricks, and we're going to take the bricks that we need. This one's probably okay. This is the kind of brick we're looking for right here. What we want is one good top to it. And even if it has a little bit of mortar on the top, like this one, or it has an imperfection like this one, no big deal. Or a little mortar on the top, because that'll add to the character of the layout. It'll look like it'll look like old Portugal, where people can't afford to buy new bricks. So when a building gets knocked down, they take the brick and they reuse it. And I'm Portuguese from the Iberian Peninsula. That makes me Hispanic, I think. But anyway, I'm actually darker than most Hispanics that I know. So that's my argument. Anyway, yeah, so we've been taking these bricks. I don't know how many. I think we have enough to do a whole entire driveway now. So he said, hey, I'll just bring the bricks to you. We were going to take our pallets to him and load them up. But he said, yeah, I'll bring it over there. So he brought it over here. And here we are. We're stacking all the bricks. But this is how it's going to look. See? Old world style. It's going to be beautiful. And the way we do this, see, here's brick that I've collected before. So like I said, I take all the brick I can get. And the way we do it is we pour a 4-inch bed of concrete 1 yard at a time with a trailer. And then we pick that up at the materials yard, 1 yard of concrete. We reinforce the concrete. We put a bunch of rebar down, and then we screed it out in one section. It's probably a section 1 yard will do about this much right here. And then we just wet set the bricks, and we'll wet set them in a circular pattern, which will be really beautiful. We wet set them, just take the bricks, and I'll show you how to do this. It's the most wonderful thing in the world. Take the bricks. This one's a little too junky. I'm not into that one. And it's gonna take a little time to chip that off. But anyway, so take the bricks, lay them in the concrete, however you're gonna do it, whatever pattern you're gonna use. You wanna leave just a little gap, be consistent, and just wet set them in there. Nice, and if you can wet the brick before you wet set it, even better. And that's more important if the concrete's starting to dry. But if the concrete's still wet, you just give it a little wiggle, put it in there, get them all set up nice and flat. And then you come back like even that day or a little bit later when they're starting to set, and you pour dried mortar on top. These bricks have to be totally dry. And you sweep the mortar in. Then you very carefully mist the mortar so eventually it sets up in here. And that, if you have a good base, like a strong, like compacted base like we have here, and you do that method, it'll be so strong you can drive huge, heavy trucks over it to no ill effect for your driveway. Because I know that, because I've had mine in place for 20 years, that you'll see at the end of this video, and it's in perfect condition despite me taking my big, really heavy trucks over it. So, manifesting. So think about what you want, really like visualize it, and then it should just show up in a dumpster in front of your house. Let's go take a look at my driveway at home. But before we go to the house to show you the brick path, let's talk about manifesting some more. Another example. I always wanted a purple truck, right? Because those are the colors of our company. See? It's the purple in the sunset right there, and it goes down into a coral. So I thought, I want a purple truck. And I looked long and hard to see what it would take to buy a brand new truck. Of course, they don't make them purple. Repaint the thing, it's a total hassle. And if you repaint it, you got to paint every little thing, like the door jambs and all the inside of the hood, like all in here. Otherwise, it looks dumb. You open it up, it's all white inside. And, a secondary paint job doesn't even work that well. But then I was, I kind of gave up on my idea of getting a purple truck because I thought it was just impractical. But anyway, I looked on the internet and I found this amazing truck. It says Ford. Ford actually somehow either bought Sterling or Sterling bought Ford, and this same truck was made by Ford in Sterling. And anyway, found this thing on the internet, and this guy was selling about 4 of these kind of trucks in Chicago at his place. He had just got them from the building materials yard, who would use his crane to lift stuff up on people's roofs, like roofing material or whatever. And he had 4 of them. He had a red one, a couple of red ones, I think a white one, and then a purple one. And I thought, that could be my dream right there, purple truck. Well, most people wouldn't want a purple truck. So I called him up and said, hey, that's a wonderful truck. But it's too bad it's purple. And he got really upset. And he's like, I'm so tired of people. It was priced way below the other ones, like $20,000 less. And anyway, he wanted like $25,000 for it. So I said, yeah, the only problem with that truck is it's purple. I've spent all this money painting it. I can't drive a purple truck. And he got all upset saying, everybody's complaining about the purple truck. That's a great truck. People need to just get over the color and just drive a purple truck. I was like, wow, nobody wants a purple truck. And so I'd give you $20,000 for it. And he got all upset. He's like, no, it's a good truck. It's a good truck. I'm like, okay, well, I only had $20,000. That's all I had. So I thought I couldn't get the deal done. Right when I'm about to hang up, he's like, okay, come get it, $20,000. And the other ones were like $50,000. Anyway, yeah, and I repainted it, but to make it nice and fresh. And even the crane was custom painted purple at the factory. So whoever had this truck before me really wanted it to be purple, because that's a lot of motivation to paint this whole setup in the factory of the crane before it even gets to the truck. I don't know. But anyway, that is another example of manifesting. See? So anyway, let's go look at these bricks at the house. Make sure to manifest. Think about what you want. Think long and hard. Know it's going to happen, and it will happen. This is why no one should ever throw away a brick. Look at this. I never threw away a brick. Not once in my lifetime have I thrown away a brick. But many other people have. And I benefited from all of those people. So when I was a little kid, I watched a movie called The Wizard of Oz, where these pathways just went off into the forest. How cool is that? It's probably not the best lighting. It's a little bouncy light, dark light, bright light. You can't really see the color of the bricks so well until we get into full shade. But you get the idea, right? Here is my concrete path where I wet set the bricks. You can see the profile right here. Here's your concrete bed. That was where the form was, and we just wet set the bricks. And then this is all the dried mortar that we swept in, and then we misted, and then eventually, it's set up nice and hard. I put in rebar. You can see it cracked a little bit. No big deal. But you can see like how sort of rough our pattern is. It's really sort of uneven. That actually gives you really good traction qualities. And I didn't have all yellow brick. I couldn't have a full yellow brick road. So the yellow brick that I did have was just enough to create the outer band. And in this case, we have 19,000 bricks. I didn't count, but I estimated. In fact, some of these bricks here are from Flavio's restaurant in Lafayette. Anybody remembers Flavio's? What a great place that was. I worked there for like 5 years. No, just 2 years, high school. But it seemed like 5 because we had so much fun. But anyway, there's bricks from all over the place in here. They're all mixed in everywhere. Here's the big patio, big truck turnaround. And you can see I drive my super heavy trucks on this thing. It's so structural. I was worried about the structural qualities of this design, but it's been flawless. There's not a single crack out here. Now, if this were a regular concrete, there'd be cracks all over. But I think because we put this 4-inch bed in, structural bed of concrete, and then we added this layer of brick, what's happening here is when you roll over this, it's like each one of these bricks is like a crane pad that distributes the weight. Crane pad is what you put down where your outriggers are to spread the weight out so you don't punch right through the ground in one spot, have a lot of pounds per square inch in a small area. Spread the PSI out. And same thing happens with this application here. So I put the heaviest trucks there are known to mankind on this brick driveway, and there's not a single crack out here. So anyway, don't ever throw away a brick. I'm gonna make a circular driveway at the ranch. Might be a few years, but at least now I think I have enough